Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leather Supply. We're with Jim Weaver again in our manufacturing facility. I've been looking forward to this one because Jim's going to show us how to break down a side. We're going to take this from this down to scrap. But how do we do that most efficiently? Jim's going to show us exactly that. So Jim, what are we doing first here?
Well, first thing you would want to look at is length for a rein, because the first thing you want to do is make reins.
Okay.
And normally you need at least 8 foot. We want to make 8 foot. We make some 7 foot, but basically 8 feet plus is what you're looking for. So you would look at this. This is 8 feet plus from the 2 longest points.
Okay.
Is a lot of times what you would do. Now there's another way to look at, maybe you'd look at here. You still get 8 feet there.
Okay.
So if that makes 8 feet, you would look at that to there. So you have to decide, how do I start? A couple different ways to do it. One is if you have 8 feet along the top here, you can make a straight edge. Do that.
Okay.
If you don't, you want to get creative and you really push it for 8 feet, you can also cut this without a straight edge. Because up to a 5/8 inch wide, because a 5/8 inch wide and narrower, the bend will come out when you use it, run it through the etchers, whatever.
I never thought about that.
So you can make, the hide a little bit longer by cutting along the contour. As a matter of fact, we use this leather to cut draw reins 15 feet.
Wow.
And we cut them in circles.
And the bend, the curve,
those are 3/8 wide. They'll straighten right up.
No kidding. I never thought of that.
So the next step now, you look at the top and you see the defect. I see one here. I do see one right there.
So blemishes, soft spots.
But just to make sure, we always would turn it around and look at the back side.
Okay.
So we just flip this around. So as you can see, what we saw on the front, right here is the back part of it.
Okay.
Just a good old butcher cut right there. And then we'll flip it back around and go in the front and mark those. Here you got another one. That's not as big a deal. It's getting down towards the belly.
Okay.
Here's another thing you always look at. How are my blood veins? This is full thickness. And nothing that's been split off, because you still see all the blood veins.
Okay.
Very important, very important.
I've learned 3 things I never knew in the last 1 minute.
Down here, see right here, you got another butcher cut.
Bad cut.
Wouldn't even really mark it. Down by the belly.
Okay.
Not really. And the reason you mark these is so you don't happen to cut through this butcher cut before you realized that I gotta watch for.
Okay.
But this one's a good hide, so that's about what you got. And now you would take it over on the bench, start to block it off, and get ready to cut reins.
Let's see that.
All right. All right, so now we got it back on the bench here. And as you can see, there's my defect.
Yep, Mark.
There's my defect.
Okay.
And one other thing that we need to point out, they also hang these hides with little staples at the tannery.
Yeah, okay.
And so you always got to cut around those. You got to watch on the top here. They're just wee little holes. We're always pushing the tannery to keep those as close to the edge as possible.
Okay.
And they're telling us when we're hanging 150 sides, we do the best we can, but the key is to get it up, hang it up.
Okay.
So sometimes that falls on deaf ears.
Okay.
This is our straight edge. So now we have an option again, how we cut this. So one way would be to put that straight edge right on this defect. Go right through that butcher cut.
Okay.
And by the time you trim on either side a little bit, just a little bit, it'll be gone.
Okay.
It's gone.
Okay.
But also, this one, it just seems like a little bit of a waste to do that because you've got so much length here. I think what I'd like to do is cut this one up and around.
I'd like to see that.
And do that. And we're going to get more 8-foot reins. Because the key again is, the more 8-footers, the better.
Okay.
That's what you really want to get out of hides.
Okay.
Because you're always struggling to get enough of those. And all the cowboys want 8-footers.
Okay. Yeah.
So let me go ahead. So I would just start anywhere in here.
You are starting
Come
with
on
it.
there. Now you see, right there's a problem.
Okay.
And there's a problem. So you want to make sure and avoid those. See that?
Yeah. Staple.
Just go right through it.
Okay.
Right here's another one.
You are splitting those right on the nose.
You know, you want to keep these turns, curves, subtle as possible, not real sharp curves you don't want to
Yeah,
have.
okay, makes
So
sense.
I'm starting to look here, where am I going here? So you want to keep coming down.
Right through the middle. Oh, that's Jim, that's impressive.
So there you go. And then you just have basically anything worthwhile keeping is these two.
Okay.
What you would do with that is I would go cut that off. I would throw that into my spurs, curb straps. That's trash.
You still are going to be able to use that.
Oh, we're going to make something out of it, yes.
Efficient.
So now we're ready to run to the cutter, but before we do that, you want to make sure you went all through that effort to mark this spot and work around it,
Yeah.
that you don't run it through the cutter and get it right in the middle of a rein.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
measure, okay, how far can I go? 6 1/4 safely. So you make sure you only go 6 1/4. So you're going to go to that blade right there, so that you don't end up, which I've done on a bad day. you go through all this effort and you end up running that thing in
Right in the middle.
right in the middle, while you
Ah.
just ruined the rein. When I started at Weaver, I started in cutting, and back then I would cut anything from harness leather to bridle leather to latigo to skirting all in one day. Now we have these cutters, like this bench here
Yep.
would only cut harness leather.
Okay.
That's what they cut.
Okay.
And obviously, by doing that, they get really good at what they're doing, because that's all they do. And they know all the products that they're making out of it, because it's really important when you're cutting leather, cutting 8-foot reins or cutting any long straps, anybody can do that. What is important and makes it profitable, what do you do with the offcuts? What is your next step? You always have to be thinking a step ahead.
That's
So
funny.
that's where the money's made. But anyway, let's go ahead and run this thing through, try to see if we can accomplish this. So what you're trying to do is just keep that as close to that blade there as you can without much of a trim. And the way I do that is I keep my hand right there, and you just hold that real tight. And then once you get used to your cutter, you can just roll that right along there. That curve was probably a little sharper than it needed to be, but we made it. Then, once you cut reins, you need to pair them. You make sure, as they come out of the cutter here, you grab them side by side and you put a rubber band around it.
You
The
pair
reason-
these.
Yeah. The reason to pair those, so you have the exact same weight on each side
Okay.
of a rein, because they came out of the hide side by side.
Okay.
So very important. Cowboys want that exact
Wow.
same feel.
Did not know that.
So put these back on the bench here. And then here, see, this is what this ended up looking like. Even down through there, you might see a little bit of a kink in there, but for the most part, here's where your bend was.
I don't see the bend.
It's already pretty much gone. You can
Okay.
just pull that out. But we wouldn't even do that. I would just throw them on a horse. If they get run through the edger, that'll all go away.
Okay. Now
that
throw them on a
bend-
horse. You're not talking about an actual horse. You're talking about
Yeah.
one of the stands.
Sawhorse.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Not ready for the horse yet.
Okay. Not just yet.
Not this yet.
Okay. So Jim, we've got that behind us. Now we've got some. You call these butcher cuts.
Yeah.
And we've got to avoid those again
Right.
for the quality, but also for our efficiency. So what are we going to do now?
Well, here's these two. I can make a whole cut through there yet before I get down to those.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll be fine.
Okay.
Not exactly sure how we're going to work around those yet. We'll just see what it looks like once we ran another full run of reins.
Okay.
Because we can get, we can get another run of 8-foot reins all the way around. Okay. This one right here, you saw we were trying to avoid. We're going to take my draw gauge again, and I'll go down and just sliver that.
So
And
you
make
take
it-
off like 1/4 inch.
Oh
or
yeah,
1/8
just
inch?
enough to
Okay.
get rid of it.
Okay.
And try to keep this contour around.
Okay.
So all right, so here again, here's our cut. So I'm going to start somewhere up here. You don't want to make a little sharp little
Yeah. Okay.
cut out of there. So you
Okay.
just try to really come in here
Oh, look at that.
as little as you can.
Again, practiced and experienced.
And then just
Look
taper
at that.
to nothing.
More.
So there's your
That's your waist.
There's your cut.
Okay, okay. And you still have nice, clean, smooth edge across there.
Yeah, you should still be able to run that along here pretty easy.
Okay, okay.
So we'll go ahead and run it through and see what they look like. Okay, so we're gonna run this through. Now this time we're gonna use the whole width.
Okay.
I think we got enough to get 8-foot reins, but as you can see right here, you're gonna run into some of this. And I don't know if that's gonna pass.
Okay.
But the thing is, if it doesn't, we will make 7-foot.
You can, okay.
We can always cut them back.
You can utilize 7-foot.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Again, key is really hold that hand right in there as much as you can and just walk that through there. So here's where we're coming up, where we cut with the draw gauge. So I'm going to trim that a little, make sure I get that trim a little bit. The one thing you also want to remember here is if you get too greedy and don't trim anything, you might ruin a whole rein. Like if your rein doesn't get the full width, well.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So now, if you do that, you've just lost everything you tried to gain.
It's a thin line.
It's a very thin line. So now we're coming back here on our bend. I'm going to go as slow as I can around.
Now you're starting to
bend.
You're into that bend.
Yep. Wow. And there again, now you got to pair them. All right, and then here's what we trimmed off that go around.
Look at that. Still.
That's a little bit more than, a little out of practice. Okay, so what happened is when I went around that curve, the outside rein didn't quite make it.
Okay.
I didn't turn it quick enough,
Okay.
so he's not full 5/8 inch. So obviously we got to cut that off.
Okay.
The saving grace is he still makes a good 7-footer.
Okay.
So we would just take the round knife, let me get my round knife, and we would just
The pair.
keep the pair together.
Keeping
Yep,
them paired.
So now you have a 7-footer.
Okay.
So out of that whole deal, 7-footers, except we got to check on the ones, remember, that were a little skeptical down here.
Yeah, I see it.
So let's
Okay.
push those out to the end.
Okay.
What do we got left? Well, you're going to have 2 more pair. You don't quite make 8 foot. They could really get really close. You could almost make it, but we would cut those back to 7-footers as well.
Okay.
So out of that whole deal, you got 8-footers, 3 pair of 7-footers.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Okay.
And then this here, we use for tips. You need rein tips. Every rein gets a water tie. We'll call it a water tie.
Okay.
I believe they're 8 inches long.
That is efficient.
Now we got to figure out how to do the rest of the hide. This is
Okay.
where it gets. Now is where it gets tricky because we're getting in some ugly leather. Belly, soft.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right. So now we're getting to the last part of our hide here. So you can see we're getting down towards the belly, and here's where we're going to create the waist. There's
Okay.
no really way around it. I mean, these parts in here, there's really nothing to do with it. Yeah, we push on the tannery to try to set those out the best they can, and they say they do.
There's just not much you can do.
Right.
That's around the belly.
That's right down by the leg,
Okay.
in the armpit of the cow's leg.
Okay.
Now we try to stay around 15% waist on all the leather we cut a week.
Okay.
Some hides will be more, some will be less.
What I've seen thus far, we got almost no waste thus far, but like I said,
we're going to get into it.
Yeah,
we're going to get into it. The least amount of waste we have in all leather cut at Weaver is Herman Oaks bridle leather that we use for our round dairy show.
Okay.
That's probably single digits waste.
Wow.
You literally use everything.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty much. At Weaver, we're trying to write up work orders to where somebody could come in off the street, take the work order, and cut the product.
Okay.
Everything, we try to explain everything.
Okay.
So what I'm looking at here, here's our 8-foot reins, okay? Pretty straightforward. You need 2 to make 1 pair. And then here's your rein ends that I was talking about.
Yeah.
They're actually 8.5 inch. Then you come over here, we have a bridle and we have a headstall. And these, as you can see, have all kinds of measurements. You have long cheeks, buckle piece, ring bow, bolt, brow band, throat, curb, liner. They're just all kinds of cuts that go with it. Now I would have to look at this. Here's our cuts. We got to work around that. We got these bellies. We got this cut here. So we just have to kind of take a good look at it and start cutting it to length and see what we can do.
I'm amazed. The person that's standing at this station has got to know exactly what they're doing here.
And what's good, Chuck, is, like I said earlier, is they cut the same leather every day.
Okay.
So these measurements become ingrained in your head.
Yeah.
I can remember measurements from 35 years ago.
Okay.
They just stick there. They just stay there.
Well, you do it over and over.
So what happens when he's cutting these and he's coming back to this, he's already knowing he needs 36 and a half, 31 and a half, 9 and a half, 23 and a quarter.
Thinking ahead, thinking of the next step.
So he's already knowing that.
This is crazy though. I never knew that it was this detailed. But the person standing right here starts the whole process.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we always say at Weaver, it's all the money is all made in cutting or lost in a couple different ways. Waste, but also the funny part is if you cut too much of like a brow band. Okay, a brow band on a headstone.
Yep. Okay.
It doesn't need a lot of strength. It just kind of sits there, right?
Yeah.
But if you cut that out of your best part and end up cutting your cheek out of here, you have a problem.
Okay.
You have a defective product. You got to know what you can cut out of what part of the hide. That also helps make money and make a quality product that people want to buy. And if that cheek doesn't have the strength, you know what's going to happen.
That's a wasted product.
You know, Paul Revere going through town wide open again.
Okay. Okay, so what's our next step?
Well, let's put these away. And then let's just get the tape measure out and see where we're at. What were those measurements? 36 and a half. 31 and a half. And the way we do this is we just go like this. This is one of your marks. You take your fingernail. Okay. That's 36 and a half.
And now you're going to block your leather.
Yep.
Pull that piece out and then run that through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you just try to make
Look at that.
Cut as good as you can. So there you are, 36 and a half.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Perfect.
36 and a half. And the good part about also with these contoured, you're going to need to click out parts.
Okay.
So you would take this over now at some point and put it on the clicker and they click out parts, and it doesn't matter if it's got a contour because it's dies. You lay it on here. And a clicker die always creates more waste than a strap cutter. Because as you can see, there's nothing in between. Well, when you're clicking, you've got to leave a little bit in between.
What do you leave, 1/8 inch maybe?
Oh, barely.
Really?
We like to keep it to where you can tear it by hand.
Oh, no kidding.
But again, you have to be careful. If you try to crowd too much and you waste a piece, well, then you just ruined everything you tried to gain.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Okay, so now I'm going to look here. Brow band, 25 inch for the top. The liner's 13 and 7/8. So this would be a pretty good piece for that. And then I would just block that off. Now here, now that's a pocket. What are we going to do with this? Well, we got these guys. So what I would do with this one, I would probably just come and cut that out. And then this one, just what I would do, run that through, make 2.5 inches.
That's got your 2.5 out of that.
You need 300. So just run it through and get out what you can. You're going to throw a little bit of this stuff away, but block it off.
Smaller and smaller and smaller all the way down.
Yep. These couple pieces, that is literally scrap.
Can't do anything with that.
That goes in the waste.
Okay.
Yep. That's fine.
Okay.
And so then we would run these through strap cutter, clicker. You know, down in here, we're going to click some parts out that we need for this.
Send that over to the clicker.
Yep.
Wow, so we just took a hide all the way down to just about nothing.
Yep.
That's impressive. To be honest with you, Jim, when I walked in this morning, I had no idea I was going to learn as much as I did. We took one of these sides, busted it down into almost nothing.
Yeah, and we have a little bit left, as you can see, to cut in the straps. We got them blocked off to the right length. Some will go, a couple of them will go to the clicker. By the time we're done running those through, everything's done, you probably hold the scrap in about 2 good hands. So that was a good hide.
I learned more in the last hour than I have in the last 3 years.
Well, good. I'm glad they could do it.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Good luck with your projects.